The three walked past Missy the cat. One step at a time would do the trick. And once you've passed the sharp challenge, you are free to go. Periwinkle calls her mistress. She wasn't that big of a fan of cats, but Missy was a little different. Unlike the cat in Cinderella, Missy was more nicer. Cleather set the dinner down on the table and asked, "Why do you look like some bully from next door hurt you? Or tripped you, for that matter?" Cleather added. She and Periwinkle didn't get along that well, but unlike her daughter Vanessa, she wouldn't hurt Periwinkle physically. Periwinkle skipped the part where Vanessa caused all of it. It was a little white lie she thought about. "I tripped and got a rug burn," Periwinkle said. "Oh, well, nice to know it's not broken," Cleather said. Silence became awkwardness. Back in Periwinkle's room, Bloomer found a sheet of paper and some pencils. Periwinkle thought, "Maybe this could be our blueprint," Periwinkle said excited, and she started drawing. Bloomer was a few years older than Susan, so that meant that Bloomer had to explain some stuff to Susan that she didn't understand sometimes. Susan asked Bloomer, "What's a blueprint?" Bloomer answered, "I guess it's like a drawing." Periwinkle said, "Finished." And she showed them the blueprint of their science project. She first drew 2 trees, one on each side of the paper, a rope going downward toward to the other tree. That was the left side of the paper. Then she drew a board on the taller tree on the right side of the paper. Bloomer looked from the blueprint to the outside and back to the blueprint again a few times. She put the blueprint down on the table and asked, "Periwinkle, are you sure this is gonna work?" Susan answered, "Bloomer, relax. I'm sure Periwinkle's a genius." Periwinkle said, "See? Susan gets it." And she smiled. Bloomer wasn't 100% sure it was truly going to work, but she said, "Well, okay." And with Periwinkle's magic, their science project was outside. The three went outside to the backyard where their science project was. Everything was just like the drawing. The only thing different was the neighbor's dog that looks like a baby wolf. And he stood there happily, sitting down. Susan went over to the dog, and once she set her eyes on it, she fell in love with it. The dog was named Buster. Buster would jump around, run around, make his butt smaller when he runs, and so on. Periwinkle had put Bloomer and Susan had been the first volunteering for the science project. Since that was only a test run, Periwinkle used her magic to fly to the board that was on the right tree. Periwinkle, are you sure this is gonna work? Bloomer asked again. Of course, Bloomer, I'm a genius, Periwinkle answered. Susan said, Of course it's gonna work. She's a princess. I'm sure she's a genius, like I said. Bloomer looked at Susan and said, Well, okay. Periwinkle strapped the buckle around her waist and zipped down the rope. But when she was almost down the zip line, a baseball came flying toward her and hit her. And when she got hit, Susan and Bloomer stood there shocked and scared. When Periwinkle got hit with the baseball, she crashed into a bush and ended up in New York. After all, Periwinkle could teleport only when she crashes hard. Susan was so worried about Periwinkle, but Bloomer wasn't, and said, Sorry, Susan, she's on her own. Susan gasped. Why? Bloomer said, The science project didn't work, and she ain't no genius. And they both left home. And, of course, Susan had a frown on her face.